I don't believe falling in love. There's no falling.
One of your sort of catchphrases, date him till you hate him.
I don't care. You can break up, but not today, and not until you tell me why it's a good reason to break up.
I don't think I ever went on 5 dates with anybody. We weren't just like seeing each other at that point.
It could be that your soulmate's not ready for you.
What's like the number one mistake in looking for their partner?
The biggest issue is you're going to find them and you just won't know how to keep them.
Welcome back to 30 Minute Mensches. Same vibe, same tribe, shorter episodes. If there's one thing that I hear from Jewish women about the most, it's how awesome my mom is. If there's another thing, it's do I know any eligible NJBs? That's nice Jewish boys, and my answer is always no. But ask my guest today, however, and I'm certain she's got an international Rolodex of Hebrew hotties from Tel Aviv to Tuscaloosa. She's the star of Jewish Matchmaking on Netflix. She's an author, a podcaster, a dating coach, and has matched over 200 couples while coaching thousands more. She brings ancient Jewish wisdom into modern Jewish dating. Please welcome Aleeza Ben Shalom.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you were born in the States, you live in Israel. Is dating culture the same everywhere, or are there different rules for different regions?
It's such a good question. There are different rules for different regions, and if you don't know it, you will probably mess up dating. So Israel's fascinating because everything here is a little bit intense, as you can imagine.
Yes, sure.
And dating is no different. They usually get married younger. When I say younger, like they trend towards getting married in their 20s, and they're living at home until then. Like it's normal. You go to the army, you live at home, you know, maybe you'll find somebody and then you'll get married and then you'll move out. It's a very family-oriented community, unless you're in, you know, the Tel Aviv scene. And so then there's a whole single scene, and that's a completely different story. But basically everywhere around the world, even Canada, South America, South Africa, Australia, Europe, like they trend to be, like their trends and their norms are very similar, but the States is like its own world.
Interesting. Have you worked on matches in all of these continents?
I have.
That's amazing.
That's kind of how I learned this. It was like on the fly, and they're like, you know, Aleeza, with whatever accent they have, like, you don't really know, but let me tell you, I'll give you an education. Here's how it works in our community. And I'm like, okay. And then repeatedly hearing it over and over again. Just for example, Australia. We're a small community and we're very isolated, and we all grow up together and we all go to the same schools, and we all
everybody knows everybody.
We know each other. So like, I don't want to marry them. It's the boy or girl next door. Like, it's not just the nice Jewish boy. It's the nice Jewish boy next door that I grew up going to grade school with. And like, I don't need to date him. And so people need to reimagine who they're with and how they're going to build a relationship. And do they need to import somebody, or do they need to export themselves, or do they need to reconsider a human being that's right in front of them?
How much, like, percentage-wise are you focused on matching up folks within the Orthodox community versus outside of it?
Before the show, I would have told you 75% are in the Orthodox community, about 25% in the secular community. And now my Rolodex has expanded. So I would say it's now 25% Orthodox and 75% secular. Like the numbers like stayed the same, but grew.
Are any non-Jewish?
We've been approached by non-Jewish people and they're like, hey, can you help us? I don't have a network. I have a network of matchmakers, but I don't have a network of singles. So I usually say, I'm going to be a good matchmaker. Let me connect you with one of my non-Jewish matchmaking friends that I think you'd be a really great fit for. And that's the match that I make.
You probably get a question like this before, but what's like the number one mistake that singles make in looking for their partner?
A lot of people zoom in and focus in, looks first, inside later. And I get that you have to wake up next to that human being, and I get that you need to find a human being that you're going to like. But I love, for example, Love is Blind, the concept.
Right.
I meet a human being, and then hopefully it'll be a look that is somewhere between, you know, neutral to awesome, right? It can't be minus, but somewhere in the like, yeah, you know.
Basically the opposite of how people are being trained to date on the apps.
Yeah.
My wife and I sort of, when I first met her, I actually talked about this in my vows. I joked, I said it was love at second sight, because the first time I saw her, it didn't go well. But then I got to know her over the course of a week. And once I saw who she was, then everything opened up for me and we were in love in like 1 second. So I'm living proof of the concept that you just talked about.
I love it. And it's coming from a man. Thank you.
Yes, 100%. And she's a total babe. It's just like, she was so short. She's so short. I'm so much taller than her. And I'd like never even seen a hot person so short. When you're setting up a match, is it a vibe? Is it a rubric? Is it like, how do you approach it? Okay, I'm going to find the person for you. What's the first couple, mental steps you're taking?
So I geek out over it a little bit. I have a whole system called Soulmate Clarity. And the first step is, what do you value? What do you want? Tell me about personality. Tell me about long-term goals, life aspirations. Like, I want to know what kind of a life you want to live and what kind of a human being is going to help you to be your best at living that life. That's the first step. The second piece of it is, we all have some sort of fear, or some people have trauma or some history or some baggage that's weighing us down. And what are going to be those roadblocks that are going to trip you up? So what are those relationship fears? If your family was abusive, if you come from a divorced family, if you had bad relationships and somebody cheated on you, like, what's the stuff you're carrying with that you're afraid that those patterns are going to repeat? And we try to find somebody that's not going to be a high trigger for those specific things.
I have to imagine, like, those are really deep, insightful questions, especially when you're dealing with younger people, 22 years old. Like, a lot of people might not have the answers to those, or at the very least have the wrong answers to them.
It is a huge stumbling block. I happen to have a tremendous amount of intuition and insight. And so when I'm talking to somebody, if they are telling me something with their words and I can tell that they are not in alignment with it, I'll have a conversation. I'll ask a question. I'll say, like, wow, that sounds so much like the person that you want to be. Can you tell me more about the person that you are now?
Yeah.
Right? Tell me more about where, right? So I will help to bring things out that I see that are kind of like hidden or buried below, and bring it to the surface so that we can have a conversation about it, so that it's not the fake version of what they want, or the Hollywood version of what they want, or the story of what their mother told them that they needed, but it's actually the real version of what's going to make them a happy human.
You've said that matchmaking goes hand in hand with coaching. And now I can sort of hear from how you're talking about it why that is clearly such a major part of it, because if you don't know yourself on a deep level, it sounds like it's much harder to find a partner.
Absolutely. You have to not just know yourself on a deeper level. That's step one. You also have to know how to handle yourself, so that when you get married, you're in a relationship and something's happening, hopefully you'll have learned it through everything that we've done beforehand, that you can carry that relationship forward. Because I think a lot of people, they think the biggest issue in the world is, I can't find my person. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to tell you, the biggest issue is you're going to find them and you just won't know how to keep them. That's going to really be the biggest issue. So if I can help you to navigate yourself, to know about relationships, to know about yourself in relationship to the person that you're dating, and how to solve a problem when it comes up, I don't expect you to date somebody that has no problems, but I expect when you fall that you're going to learn and know how to pick yourselves up and to grow stronger because of it.
How much work are you doing post-match with couples, if at all? Like, once you've got them together, are you still doing the coaching? Are there check-ins? Are they coming back to you being like, it's not working and we need help?
Yeah, I have a rule. One of the rules, actually, it's in my book.
Huh, what do you have there, Aleeza?
This is Matchmaker, Find Me a Love That Lasts. I make up all kinds of rules, and this is one of my favorites. Convince me why you're breaking up. Okay? Convince me why you're breaking up. I don't care. You can break up. You want to break up? Okay, we'll break up, but not today, and not until you tell me why it's a good reason to break up. Don't tell me you woke up and you had an aha moment and you feel like it's the right thing to do. That's not enough of a reason. Why should you not be with this person? I had somebody come to me recently, and we did this all through text. I know her very well. And she said, Aleeza, remember you told me I got to convince you. She's like, we're at that moment. And the first thought in my head is, I'm going to prevent her from making a mistake, right? But I'm thinking probably like something's going on and really she's going to have to stay in this. That was my like gut. And really, she was trying in the beginning of the relationship to convince herself that it would work, that it could be the right thing. But it really wasn't aligned. It was aligned in certain ways, but it really wasn't aligned in the deep ways that she needed it to be aligned. And it was always wrong from the beginning, but she was actually giving him and herself and the relationship much more of a chance.
And that's an admirable attempt.
It was funny because she wrote back to me. She's like, really? I'm allowed to break up? But she also was expecting that I was going to be like, no, you have to stick it out. You have to try. Here's why. I said, actually, I'm proud of you. And you figured out a good reason. And so you win. You get to break up.
Are there trends, let's say, in why a couple that might make sense on paper doesn't end up working out?
Yes. So a lot of the times I could see a match on paper that looks good. And when they meet, there's just no click. There's no chemistry. There's no energy. There's no vibe. It's like everything is there. It looks right. It sounds right. It makes sense. And then when they meet, it's almost like a magnet, right? So it's either going to attract and draw you together, or like you're going to try to like stick it together and it's going to keep pushing it apart. It can't come together. I've had it happen enough times to know that even if I think it's a brilliant idea and it's amazing and I'm good at this, I spend my whole life doing this, I will never know. And I tell people, you will be the only ones to know.
The stigma around people who are single and getting up there in the dating years, 30s, 40s, the stigma is, there must be something wrong with them. They must be too picky. They must be damaged. I imagine that might be true for some people, but that can't be like the blanket statement about all these folks, can it? What are some of the common truths about people who find themselves single later in life?
One of the common truths is it has to be the right person at the right time. So you might be the right person, but it might not be the right time for your partner. Something might be going on in their life. I've had people tell me they were taking care of a parent who was ill. They didn't start dating until 2 years later. In the meantime, their partners their soulmates waiting for them on the sidelines.
Right.
Somebody else was going through their own internal health crisis. They lost a job. They moved countries. There's just something going on in their life and they're not ready. It's not always there's something wrong with you. It's just, it could be that your partner's not ready. Your soulmate's not ready for you. And if they're not ready for you, then it's not going to be the right time. And I tell people, go on cruise control. Like, you need to just be the best version of you right now in this moment and stay and just pray that they are going to be ready for you, because clearly you're in a good spot. And if you're in a good spot, don't poo-poo yourself. Just walk around with a smile, do things that bring you joy, take yourself on vacation, hang out with your friends, and be ready to receive them when they're ready for you.
Again, like, you're speaking my experience, which is, when I met Courtney, my wife, I was not looking, I'd just gotten out of a relationship, but I was so happy with where I was in life. We met doing a show together, doing a stage show, the musical Hair. And I was confident and I was loving life and I was just sort of being my best self. And we sort of, attracted each other at that time without, the stress of the hunt.
It feels like poof, it's magical. And some people say watched pot never boils. So I'm not going to focus on dating. I'm going to focus on life. But when you are joyful, when you are living your best life, when you are feeling your best, and at the same time, it is helpful to make a little space inside where somebody could come in, that you're not so joyful and so happy that everything's fine. And when somebody comes in, it messes up the joy of you. There has to be a space inside where there's the joy of me with a little spot in my heart for the joy of you to join me on this road, or the possibility to exist when the right time happens.
So you mentioned the word soulmates. So how do you feel about soulmates? What does Judaism say about soulmates?
So I'm going to give you the Aleeza / Jewish version of soulmates. I describe it like this. Two people meet, right? They fall in love, however you want to describe it. I don't believe falling in love. I believe growing in love, building love. There's no falling. Love is all about giving. And Judaism talks about, at the root of the word love, ahava, it means to give. And the more that we give, the more that we love. That's why parents love their children so much more than a child could love their parent, because they don't have the opportunity to give back. When you met your wife, right, and you were dating, and you might have felt wow, I'm over the moon, I'm in love, this is my soulmate. And I would correct you and I would say, that's your potential soulmate. You want to make her your soulmate? Marry her. We consider at the wedding canopy under the chuppah that when a couple gets married, we are literally binding their souls. We would say that you are one soul. So Jewish math goes like this: 1 + 1 = 1.
Right.
That's the Jewish math, which means that you and me together, we're just one. We are one unit, but we don't become one unit until we get married. And then if somebody passes away or if somebody gets divorced, it's literally a separation of the souls. And now the other person who's left is a free soul, and they can choose to marry and reunify with somebody else. Have you only been married once?
Yes.
You've got one soulmate. But if somebody's been married twice, then they've had two soulmates. If somebody's been married 3 times, they've had 3 soulmates, you know?
That's a different framework than I think most people are walking around when they think soulmate. They're thinking, you know, that my destiny, the person that was put on this earth for us to find each other.
There is a Jewish concept of your soul coming into this world and your soulmate, you know, like a heavenly voice calls out, so-and-so is for so-and-so. But the Jewish understanding is that God gave us free will. And our free will allows us to choose. And we can choose anybody we want. We can literally close our eyes and go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, choose you. We can go to the Elvis Chapel of Love, hunka, hunka, burning love. We can get married and mazel tov. We are soulmates. In English, I like the word soulmate because soulmate, right? It's souls that are mated, that are brought together and that choose to say, I pick you for a lifetime.
When you're trying to match people, are you looking for like an opposites attract kind of thing? Or are you looking for a peas in a pod kind of thing? Or does it depend on the situation?
I much prefer peas in a pod because it's just easier to navigate life. And I think that we are naturally opposite each other, just normally. Humans are different. So it doesn't matter what people you bring together. Even the peas in the pod are going to have things that are opposite about them. And there's a lot of challenges to move through life. What we see trending is that first-time marriages are opposites attract, and second-time marriages are beyond, are peas in a pod.
Interesting.
That's what people try to do. Because they usually learn, like, the opposites attract. Like, this is a challenge. Like, there's a lot of work here. And then the second time, they're like, I want to do the same things. I want to have the same interests. I want to, you know, the values, the hobbies, the lives, the lifestyles. Like, I don't want to work at it so much. I don't have so much longer left. I just want to be with my partner that wants to do what I want to do. And I want it to be a little easier.
What do you think that is in terms of like that higher value placement the first time around on the challenge or that difference?
I think that we have an amount of growth within us where we're growth oriented, and we see that when we have opposites, it's good. It balances us out. You're a morning person. I'm a night person. The challenges come when, like, I like the room hot and you like the room cold.
Right.
There's some things that are helpful and some things that are not. People look at it as like, oh, you're going to show me a new world because I'm not used to that. And I think that it's appealing at first because it's new, it's exciting, it's different. It's kind of like exploring a new country. So I get to explore a whole new world from a different lens, and that seems really exciting until you realize, like, but I don't want to do that. Like, my husband and I, we have an amount of similarities and things that are like really deeply, we're completely aligned, values, who we are, personalities, what we want. And then like hobbies and interests, like if we were to match on a site that had like, base it on your music styles. So he's in the kitchen cooking out to like rock, and I'm like, Frank Sinatra, please.
Right. One of the things that one of your sort of catchphrases, you have a lot of great ones. One is date 'em till you hate 'em. Tell me about that, because that sounds a little counterintuitive to me.
I love this one, and I like to challenge people's brains.
Yeah.
So the philosophy of date 'em till you hate 'em, right? Most people are like, prove to me that you are worthwhile, and then I'll give you a second date. And I'm like, look, if you chose them for a first date, hopefully you had a little, seichel, wisdom in your mind and why you said yes. Give them a chance. Give them a chance. Give you a chance. Give the relationship a chance. If you don't hate them, so go out again. People usually say, like if they're in doubt, they're going to say no. And I say, when in doubt, go out. Say yes. Just say yes. You'll be very clear when it's a no. You might get to a third date and you're like, I can't do this. Okay. Last date. And you go out on the last date and then you're like, yeah, it's really over. Or they could wow you and you're like, oh my gosh, like your second date. And you're like, wow, I would have blown it. I would have missed my wife if I didn't say yes to a second date. And the aha moment you had on a second date, some people don't have until third, fourth, fifth. Like it comes at different times.
So you've seen that play out where people are like, I don't really want to go for a second date, but okay. And then they end up together.
Yeah. And it's shocking. And because I've seen and worked with thousands of people, I And I follow patterns. I love patterns and trends. And like my brain is always doing the calculation and the risk versus the reward. If you break up and miss out on your person, maybe you'll meet them later, or maybe they'll go and marry somebody else and then you'll have to pick a different person. And if you meet them later, like, well, you just wasted 10 years. Why did you have to waste that time? Could you imagine if you like didn't go out on a second date with your wife and then like 5 years later you meet and then but now you wasted 5 years and look at the amazing relationship you have.
It's like, what do you have to lose, really? One evening versus somebody who could be your life.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. You've convinced me. Date him till you hate him. What feedback do you get from the non-Jewish audience who has found you through all the different media places that you do, who are being exposed to Jewish ideas and customs and values through you, who are clearly fans of what you're doing if they're listening to your pod and watching the show and reading? What are those conversations?
They're so kind, so loving. When they like meet me at the airport or see me on the streets of New York, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're Aleeza. We're not Jewish, but we love your show." They're the sweetest ever. I just did an interview with a Christian TV network who wanted to talk about faith-based values and how we're so in alignment. And people just appreciate how authentic, real, non-judgmental I am, and how practical I am. Like I give a lot of it's like Jewish wisdom, but in plain language. Date them till you hate them is really like love your neighbor as yourself. So like I'm really promoting that you should care for somebody, connect with them, build this. And if it's not for you, you can say no later. But it comes through in just plain language, and people are just so drawn to it, and they feel not judged.
You have another catchphrase that I don't know if this is for everybody or just for like the Shomer Nagia folks, but no touching for 5 dates.
Yes. Okay.
Is that for everybody?
I am going to logic you into this. Are you ready?
Yeah, good luck.
No, men actually love this more than women, and I'm going to tell you why. I know you're going to think it's crazy. I know what they're doing.
Let's hear it. I'm open.
I know what they're doing on first, second, and third dates, and it's not what I advise. Okay, here's the deal. If you go out with somebody for 5 dates, and this is for the non-religious crowd, not even Jewish, anybody, it could be for anybody. If you go out with somebody for 5 dates and you do not touch them and you want to see them for a 6th date, do you like that human being?
Oh, yeah. If you're on date 5 with somebody and you have it, like you're whether you're touching or not, like you're dating. Like I don't think I ever went on 5 dates with anybody. We weren't just like seeing each other at that point.
Yeah, but if you're not touching and you show up to a 5th date, you really like that human. And what do you know?
Oh, yeah.
But what do you know that's even better than I know that I like you? I know that you like me. It's a double win, and it's a double confirmation that there's really something here. Then I tell them on a 6th date, take it slow. Nothing crazy. Build the relationship. But I know guaranteed 100% both sides are invested. If you go out with somebody once, twice, 3 times, you do whatever you do. Let's say you're getting intimate and things are great. Let's say the intimacy is good. Do you like them? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
No. No. Do you like them? You don't even know them. You just know their body. You don't know them. I know what you know, and it is not their heart and their brain and their soul. You don't know them. You just know that you like how you physically feel with them.
What do you think you're learning by date 5 that you don't know at date 3 or date 4?
Oh, come on.
Seriously, if you're going on 4 dates with someone, that's a lot of dates to invest in somebody if you're just, poking around.
No, at date 4 and date 5, walls start coming down, the vulnerability. I'm telling you things that I mostly tell like really close friends. I'm not telling you that on date 2 or date 3. I still want to know if you buy in, I buy in, there's a connection. By date 5, and we're not touching, and the man and you're both in the relationship still, there's something that's there. I'm not saying you're going to marry the person. I am saying you're going to be happy to date that person for the next 6 months. As a man, I'm going to get your buy-in. How would you like to not spend money on dates in this person for the next 6 months, wondering if they're a person, and you can just do it in 5 dates? How about if I just save you about $3,000 or $5,000 and 6 months worth of your life in figuring out if it's your person, and you can figure it out in 5 dates?
I'm gonna pass this along, Aleeza. This is good.
I challenge people. I'm like, money back guaranteed. Try it. If it doesn't work, it's free advice. So
I can't imagine a scenario where it doesn't work because it's such an investment.
That's the point. It's foolproof.
What do you see when people are in relationships too long? is there a trend of why these people find themselves in long-term relationships that are not the right one?
Yes, it is because they love them. They have spent enough time to them. They have built enough of a relationship with them. They have given enough to them that they love them. But on both sides, they love each other. They're just wrong for each other. And you can love someone and be wrong for them, and it hurts. Because they'll come to me and they'll say, but I love them. And I will say, but you can never live with them. And that's the problem. Love is not enough, and people don't know that. Love is not enough. It's not the only thing you need. You need to have values aligned. You need to have your long-term vision, your life aligned, what you want, how you make somebody a better human, how they lift you up. Those things have to be aligned, and love is not enough.
Preach. Aleeza, this has been so enlightening. I'm already happily married, but I'm like still learning stuff, and it's just, this is like, I got a smile on my face. This is great stuff. It's clear why you are, the only public matchmaker that I've ever heard of. I mean, it's well deserved. So tell my audience, where, other than on Netflix, where can they find you? What are you working on now? All of that stuff.
You can find me on any social media platform at Aleeza Ben Shalom, Aleeza. It's phonetically spelled, Ben Shalom. You can also find me on my website, Marriage Minded Mentor. Reach out. I would love to hear from you. And I am working on a Jewish matchmaking movement, and really like a world matchmaking movement and globalizing matchmaking. I want to bring community matchmaking to every community across the world. I think that if we build couples, we will strengthen communities. And if we strengthen communities, we will fix the world.
What does that mean, bringing matchmaking to the world?
So think about, in the Jewish community, you have a synagogue, you have a rabbi, you have a community center, you have an educational director, a leader, a president, Why do we not have a matchmaker in every single community in the world? In a Jewish world, non-Jewish world, everywhere. Why can't, where's the matchmaker? Who's going to build up the community? Who's going to help people come together? Who's going to throw the events? Who's going to have people in mind? Who's going to train community members how to keep other people in mind? Everybody should have a hobby of matchmaking. You don't have to be a professional to make a match. Anyone can make a match, which, by the way, I'm counting on you to stop telling your friends that you don't have any friends for them. You have to go find somebody and you have to start making a match. Pressure's on.
Seriously.
I'll coach you. I'll coach you on how to make a match. And then we're going to come back and you're going to be like, Aleeza, help me make my first match. We say you make 3 matches and you go to heaven. So you got to make your 3 matches. That's it. And you're not done after that. Then you become, a little bit of a mini expert and you got to keep going. Okay. My challenge accepted. Yes. Aleeza, thank you so much. It's been awesome having you. Thanks for sharing your joy and your wisdom and the love for love. Thank you for having me. All right, she's a mensch. It's been 30 minutes. I'm Jonah Platt. And be more of a yente, would you?